What's up, everyone? Welcome back. 88 Fitness Live every Sunday at noon Eastern Time. We're here today. You see, I'm by myself. Camille's in California once again, taking care of some family issues. So you got me today. We're talking about the difference between CrossFit, bodybuilding, strongman, and powerlifting. All these things are in the weight room. They're in the gym. They're all very different things. So it's New Year's, right? You're an athlete. You don't realize in high school that your athletics are going to stop after high school unless, of course, you go to college and play. But you don't really realize it in high school as a kid. Hey, this is my last time playing sports. If you're a competitive person, a lot of guys are, you like that feeling. You like to compete. So in the weight room, in the weight world, there's only 4 ways you can compete with weights. Good afternoon, Camille. 1 is bodybuilding, competition bodybuilding. 2 is powerlifting. 3 strongman. 4 CrossFit. Now, there's also Olympic weightlifting, but I've been in this game, I've been in this industry working, and I have yet to meet anybody who does Olympic lifting competitively. They also throw those lifts into CrossFit. So we're going to wrap the Olympic lifting into CrossFit. If you are an Olympic weightlifter, good on you. You have a specialized gym and a specialized coach because, believe me, the Olympic lifts aren't out there. They're not common. They don't get used very often. All right. So like I said, you're in high school. You let yourself go. It's New Year's. You're ready to get back into shape. You're a competitive athlete. You haven't done any athletics in a couple of years, right? You're getting fat, you're getting out of shape, you don't like it. But you don't really want to go to the gym and just work out. You want a competitive outlet. So let's talk about them. So first of all, before we even start, do not call yourself a bodybuilder unless you've been on stage. That's 1. Don't call yourself a powerlifter unless you've competed in a powerlifting competition. Same with strongman, same with CrossFit. If you haven't been in these competitions, you are not a bodybuilder. You are not a strongman. You can say you're training for a strongman, absolutely. But unless you've done a strongman competition, you are not a strongman. So now that we got that clear, even my boy Terrence Hill competed in a bodybuilding competition. Get him, Big T. And he did very well, actually. So the difference is, there's a lot of differences and a lot of similarities, by the way. They cross over, these sports do. But they're very different. Bodybuilding, obviously, me, myself, Camille, we're bodybuilders. That's what we do. I flirted with powerlifting 100 years ago, literally in high school. Went to a bench press competition, embarrassed myself. That was one thing that wasn't very nice about powerlifting. I didn't like. Also, the winner of this bench press competition, when he laid down, his belly was so fat, it went whoa when he laid down on the bench. It was at that point I said, I'm not a power lifter, nor do I want to be one. If you're a power lifter, nothing against it. Good on you, but not for me. Then you have the strongman. Strongman, you got to have some athleticism. It is strongman. You better be strong, but these events are athletic events. They aren't pure strength events. Powerlifting is pure raw strength. If you want to see who the strongest person is, it's not strongman. It's powerlifting. If you didn't know, powerlifting is 3 lifts: squat, deadlift, bench press. They take the total of the 3 lifts, they add them up, and whoever has the highest number wins. That's powerlifting. Strongman, you got all kinds of different events. I mean, you got, you're lifting the stones, you're doing the telephone poles, whatever the heck they're called. You're doing where they hold the pillars out. It's fun to watch, and I do watch it, but it's not for me. If you've seen The World's Strongest Man, these guys are gigantic. But there's lower levels. When I worked at Gold's Gym, there was actually a strongman who won his pro card in strongman. He's very strong. But I can tell you, I watched his training, and he did more conditioning than he did heavy weights. Conditioning is those high intensity cardio intervals, because if you watch strongman, You got to have some high intensity cardio to get through these events. Again, they're athletic events. They are not raw strength events. So you have to have the cardio to withstand them, and you got to be athletic. CrossFit. Well, I honestly don't know a whole lot about CrossFit. It was invented after I was already into bodybuilding. I've had some bodybuilders leave and go do CrossFit, but they come right back after a couple weeks and say, man, I'm losing my gains. CrossFit is too much cardio. On top of that, CrossFit is very expensive. They have a stereotype. It's recently divorced because when you walk into a CrossFit gym, everybody hugs you, makes you feel like you're part of the group, makes you feel like you're home there. I actually trained a couple of CrossFit coaches, and they would say if a new person comes to the gym and you don't come up and hug and say, hello, welcome to the gym, you have to do burpees. You get punished if you don't hug the new person when you come into a CrossFit gym. So it's very expensive. It's very stereotypical, recently divorced. I need to feel like I belong somewhere. CrossFit. The workout is for everyone. It's not individual workout. And this is what my big thing against CrossFit was. You're paying all this money, but you're not getting an individualized workout. Whatever the workout of the day is, that's what you're doing. Whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, lose muscle, gain muscle, your goal doesn't matter in CrossFit. You're doing the workout of the day. Hey. All right, back to bodybuilding. You train for max muscle size, not necessarily strength. There's different ways to train for strength, different ways to train for size. Bodybuilding is all about size. Hypertrophy. Your rep range is 6 to 12, and you are going heavy, 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 heavy as you can for those 6 to 12 reps. And hashtag, all these sports are the same. They're progressively overload. So really, you're going against yourself. You're competing against yourself to get that extra rep or that extra pound every single workout. So bodybuilding is max size, not necessarily strength. I know a lot of bodybuilders don't even add up their weight. They don't care what the weight is. They know if they're doing 6 and can't get to 10, that's the weight they need to use, and they don't bother adding it up because they don't care. They just care about the muscle size and growing the muscle. They don't care what that number is that they're lifting. Right after that's powerlifting, right? Powerlifting doesn't care about the size of the muscle. If you didn't pick up on that with my big belly boy at the bench press competition, it's not a sport, a look. It is all about the number. They're moving weight, and they want to move big, heavy weights. They don't care about muscle size. They don't care about hypertrophy. All they want is that strength to move that weight. That is it. 100%. Strongman, we talked about a little bit already. You got to be athletic. If you're not athletic and you're extremely strong, go to powerlifting. You're going to get beaten strongman if you're not athletic. Again, they do the specialized sport. So stones, for example, they're going to go lift the stones. They're going to practice lifting the stones. There's a push-pull event. It's a sled, it's an anchor, it's whatever. They're going to go practice pushing and pulling this 500-pound anchor. Of course, they're in the gym. They're doing deadlifts. They're doing, your basic compound moves. But they are also 100% doing those specialized movements. Believe me, if you never lifted a stone before and you go to a competition for your first time and attempt to lift stones, it's going to be ugly. These guys practice these specific events so they can get better at the specific events. Overall strength is needed, yes, but I don't care if you're the strongest guy in the world. If you never lifted a stone, you're not going to beat somebody that's done it 200 times. Make sense? Yeah. All right, CrossFit. You go into CrossFit, and here's another knock on CrossFit. You go into CrossFit, and they do very technical lifts. We talked about Olympic lifts. These lifts can take years to master. And unfortunately, day one in CrossFit, they tell you to lift as heavy and as fast as you can. Even though these lifts take years to master. So that's another thing CrossFitters have in common. They all get hurt. If you know a CrossFitter, I guarantee you, you know somebody who's been hurt training. But again, it's competitive. I don't want to knock it. I don't want to beat it up. A lot of people love it. And like I said, if you're a competitive person, you want to get into something competitive in the weight room, in the gym, these are your outlets. CrossFit's probably the most common. And I'm not going to say it's the easiest, but as a beginner, you can go in a CrossFit competition and do pretty well. As a beginner in bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, you're not going to do well. You got to put your time in. You got to put your work in before you're going to do well at any of the other ones. All right. So let's see my notes here. Bodybuilding, again, aesthetic, muscle growth, and symmetry. That's a good point there. You want everything in balance in bodybuilding. You want to look good. You know, your Greek statue, your Adonis. You take your clothes off. You want to look completely shredded. Every muscle in perfect proportion, built top to bottom, not missing anything, looking fantastic. Statue of David, if you will. That's bodybuilding. Powerlifting, max strength in squat, bench press, and deadlift. Again, they could care less what they look like. Matter of fact, the heavier you are, the more weight, the more leverage you have. So they want to be heavier. They want to be bigger, bigger, bigger. And I'm going to use the word fatter, yes, because most of them are very fat. Remember the guy with the big belly at the bench press? He was very fat. But they don't care. That's part of the sport. You know, if you need an example, it's like sumo. You have to be that big, giant, fat guy to be competitive in this sport, right? All right. That's powerlifting. Strongman, most of them are big, giant hunks of just big men. Not necessarily fat, but big, 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 big guys. You know, 10 years ago, 15, oh my goodness, 15 years ago, I went to the Arnold Classic, and you can see the bodybuilders walking around. They're all 5 foot tall, air lats, huge arms, you know, just big dudes, very short. And then you see the power lifters coming. They're all over the place, big, tall, fat, all over the place. And then you have the strong man. These guys are like 7 feet tall, man. I'm not even kidding. I met Phil Pfister when I was there. He's the last American to win it, I believe. And I shook his hand. His hand is 3 times bigger than mine. I felt like a little kid, like, oh my God, this is a polar bear I'm meeting, right? Hi, Phil. Nice to meet you. He's gigantic. His head had to be this big. I'm not kidding. These strong men at the top of the sport, these strong men are gigantic men. Look at their stats. I mean, Mariusz Pudzianowski was probably the smallest one, and he was 6'4", 270, 280 pounds, and he's ripped. You get a lot of the strong men are staying lean nowadays too, because again, you have to get that cardio aspect in there. This is an athletic sport. You're running, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're lifting rocks, you're flipping telephone poles. You got to do stuff that takes cardio. That's strong, man. Definitely have to be strong, but you got to be there. And then, of course, CrossFit, functional fitness, high-intensity workouts. All 4 strengths have different goals, training methods, competitions, myths associated with them. I'm not really sure what the myths are associated with them. Hopefully I cleared up some of those myths. But people tend to do what they're naturally good at, if that makes any sense to you. So I put on muscle pretty quickly in the beginning of my working out career, if you will. So I went over to bodybuilding pretty quickly. I was also decent in strength, so I flirted with powerlifting until I went to that bench press competition and got embarrassed. I embarrassed myself, yo. I don't want to talk about it. It's that embarrassing. But I did go to a bench press competition and embarrassed myself and said, okay, I'm not powerlifting. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm going to work max size, keep the 6-pack, stay lean, and just worry about how I look. Of course, every one of these athletes are very strong. CrossFit, you got to do a lot of cardio, man. A lot of cardio. Yeah. That is true, guy. I met Jay Cutler. I don't know what they list him at on the program, but I can tell you, dude's about 5'3", 5'4". He's not even close to 5'9". Believe me, he's a short dude. I got a picture standing next to him, and I'm 5'10", and I'm towering over this Jay Cutler, man. I think they list him at 5'9" or 5'10", and believe me, he's about 5'3". So, yeah, the bodybuilders are short. If you think about it, you got a shorter arm, you're going to build faster because you got less to fill in, right? Right. The taller, the longer you are, the more you got to fill in. Oh, yeah. Okay, where was I? CrossFit. The CrossFit competitions, you definitely have to have cardio. That's why they train for it. It is very much a cardio sport, very much a cardio event. Nowhere in CrossFit history do they train for muscle hypertrophy alone. Now, like I said, I met some coaches. I've trained some CrossFit coaches who say, well, I just pick out the workout of the day. If they say, do deadlifts, 30 sets, 30 seconds of deadlifts, well, I just do 6 sets of 10. Okay. But you're not really doing CrossFit at that point. That's more like a powerlifting workout. So, these all have pluses and minuses, pros and cons. They all, if they get you into the gym and get you off the couch, I don't care what it is, do it. It is going to help you out more than sitting on the couch doing nothing. Chase your goals. Like I said, you got yourself out of shape. You're out of high school 10 years, and you go, oh, my goodness, what happened? I need to be competitive. I need to get into something competitive, and I need to get back into shape. These are your 4 options. Any one of them is a great option to get you off the couch and get you into it. I'm biased towards bodybuilding. Of course, I'm a bodybuilder. So, of course, I'm biased towards bodybuilding. But any one of these things is great to get you going, great to get you off the couch. And then you can do it like me. You go in, you flirt a little bit with powerlifting, and then you say, oh, no, that ain't for me. I'm going to bodybuilding, or I'm going to Strongman, or I'm going to CrossFit. You know what I'm saying? But pros and cons for all of them, very similar but very different. And remember, it is competitive sports, but the only person you're competing against is you on all of these. You're looking at your workouts, you're looking at your numbers, and you're saying, all right, I got to beat the last numbers from the last workouts. You're competing against yourself. And that's the true ticket to getting better and stronger. Progressive overload. Every one of them does it. We'll give you an example. Deadlifts. Bodybuilding deadlift, you got to add a pound or a rep. Powerlifting deadlift, you got to add a pound or a rep. Strongman, pound or a rep. CrossFit, pound or a rep. Every single workout, progressively overload every single workout, or it's not going to happen. I mentioned bodybuilding, you do 6 to 12 reps. Powerlifting, you're doing 1 to 5 reps. That's your strength range. You're not going to really build too much size, but you are going to build strength like crazy at the 1 to 5 rep range. Strongman, again, like I said, they're all over the place. They're doing 1 to 5. They're doing 20 to 30. They're all over the place. Same with CrossFit. All over the place. If they had more specific goals, the easiest goals is bodybuilding and powerlifting to me, because it's 1, bodybuilding, only hypertrophy. That's it. Powerlifting, only strength. That's it. Now, strongman, now you got to do your cardio, your conditioning, and you got to be athletic, and you got to train for these athletic events. Again, if you've never picked up a keg and threw it, you could be the strongest cat in the world, but if somebody's done it 300 times, you are not going to beat them. I don't care if you're stronger than them. You're not going to beat them if they've done it 300 times and you haven't done it once. So they train for these specific events. And then CrossFit, of course, they're all over the place, man. Drive by a CrossFit gym, you'll see people running, people jumping rope, people deadlifting, people power cleaning, people doing kip-ups, whatever you call those cheap pull-ups they do. They're all over the place. So the easiest goals is bodybuilding and powerlifting. But Strongman is a lot more popular, especially these days, for whatever reason. I'm not sure. It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. That's probably why it's more popular. It's pretty fun to watch this World's Strongest Man. It is. It's entertaining. I actually caught it live. The finals live at Arnold. Man, if you can catch it live, it is awesome. The crowd's going nuts, and these big giant men are lifting up these humongous weights. It's good stuff. It is. But that's it. The bottom line here is get yourself off the couch and get into the gym and get into shape. Do whatever it is you got to do. I don't care if it's CrossFit, bodybuilding, powerlifting, or strongman. If it gets you in the gym, gets you into shape, then do it. Just do it. All right, so that was the 4 differences. If you want to be competitive in weightlifting, that's your 4 outlets. I think that's pretty much all I got on those. This channel's here for y'all. If you got any questions, we're here for you. We can answer them. We're here to help. That's what this channel is about. It's about helping you. So drop us a question. We'll get to it. We'll make the video. We are here for y'all.